Dear friends, welcome to this week's edition of the Inspired Parsha. This week we have the incredible privilege to read through Parshas Terumah. And like every Parsha in the Torah, there's so many beautiful, rich Torah ideas, especially in the Hasidic world, but I just want to focus on one pasuk. This is in Shemos, Exodus chapter 25, verse 2. It's a famous pasuk. Daber al bnei Yisrael v'yikchu li truma. Speak to the children of Israel and take from me a donation. It's one of the sources for giving tzedakah in the Torah a little bit, for giving charity. It says, take from me a donation. So the obvious question is, why does it say take? When we give, we're giving. We're not taking. So Rav Levi Yitzchak Berditchev says something beautiful, and this is a famous idea, but he expounds on it in a beautiful way. He says that, when we give to someone, we're actually taking something back in return. What are we doing? We're taking an elevation of our character, so to speak. We're learning how to become more of a giver. We're gaining even more than we're giving. That's just one of the most beautiful ideas. But he adds on this one component, which I think brings the idea to an even deeper level. He says the words were take for me, v'yikchu li. So what does that mean? Why does it say for me? He says that it could also mean from me. We're taking from me. What does that mean? We're taking a piece of the master of the world himself, so to speak. God is the ultimate giver, as we know. He can receive. By nature, he's a giver. And when we give, we're actually taking a piece of the master of the world himself. We're taking that trait of giving that he has, and we're instilling it and bringing it into ourselves. What an incredible idea. What a powerful message. But there's an even deeper idea, a story just along these same lines. One of my favorite Hasidic stories about the Baal Tanya, the great Hasidic Rebbe. At the time, there was an incident of Pidyon Shvuyim, redeeming a captive. Unfortunately, we now know of this type of thing. Someone was being held hostage. And the ransomer, was asking for an exorbitant amount of money, and nobody in the town can afford it. So the Baal Tanya didn't know what to do, and he knew that there was one person in the town who was an extremely wealthy person, but he was a miser. He wouldn't give any money. Just no matter what, people would knock on his door, and he was just a cheapskate. He would just turn people away, and that was it. He wouldn't give any money. So the Baal Tanya went with a couple of his Hasidim, and he said, we have to try it. The mitzvah of Pidyon Shvuyim, redeeming a captive, we see this again from our time with the hostages. It's such a powerful and important mitzvah. It's so important to bring our Jews back home. So he went out to go, and he knocked on this miser's door. And the miser just listened to this story, and he actually was a little bit touched by it. And he said, this is really, really sad. And I really do want to help. So, that already shocked some of the Hasidim, that he was willing to help. And what does he do? He reaches into his pocket and he pulls out probably the equivalent today of a quarter or nickel, something like that, a dime. Just a little joke, like this little penny. And the Hasidim who were with the Baal Tanya were fuming. They're like, what's this guy doing? They're about to jump up and scream, like, how dare this guy? And the Baal Tanya right away says, wow, thank you for giving me this quarter. Thank you so, so much for giving me this quarter. And he turns to start to walk away. And as he's about to reach the door, suddenly the miser says, excuse me, just wait one more minute. Let me give you a little bit more. Here's $1. He gives him $1. Again, the equivalent of $1. The Baal Tanya said again, wow, thank you so much for giving me these few rubles, giving me this $1, like he was getting this huge amount of money. And again, he starts to walk towards the door. And the miser says, let me give you a little more. He gives him a couple more dollars. And again, the Baal Tanya says the same thing. Thank you so much. And each time he keeps giving a little more and a little more and a little more. And then finally, he starts really pulling out the money. And before they knew it, they had the 5,000 or 10,000 rubles that they needed. And they walked out. And Hasidim asked this Baal Tanya, he said, how did you do that? What did you know? How did you know to do that? And he said, I can tell that this person just never gave, and he wasn't in the habit of giving. He had to learn how to become a giver. So once he opened up that door even a little bit and gave even a little bit, it started to become a part of himself. And then he started to want to give a little more. And then he started to want to give even more than that, and even more than that, till finally he really truly gave. I want to end up over here with a bracha, a blessing. May we all learn to become a little bit of a giver. May we all learn to take a little piece of the master of the world himself and learn how to give. Learn how to give. Because really when we're giving, we're gaining so much more back in return. Thank you so much for listening. Have a wonderful Shabbos.